All ye citizens of Boston, tomorrow at noon we will assemble at the courthouse to hear the reading of the reply we received from King George III. Hear ye, hear ye, all ye citizens of Boston, tomorrow we will assemble at the courthouse to hear the reply we received from King George III. Hear ye, hear ye. In the early 1700s, that was a familiar sound. The man was known as the town crier. He was what today would be the newspaper. The first newspaper printed in America appeared in 1690, but it was not very well liked by the people, so the town crier kept his job. Eventually, the newspaper did make a go of it and began reporting all the important events. The town crier was replaced by the postman, who would carry the paper and deliver it to those interested in the news. The news told what happened back in England. So, what you read about may be months old by the time you've got it. The paper was usually 8 pages long, and about 300 newspapers were printed in the local town once a week. Besides printing news stories, much like the newspapers that we have today, the newspaper carried advertisements for dancing and music, instructors of all sorts, teachers and potters and silversmiths. These advertisements helped pay for the newspaper. One of the greatest and best loved and known paper and book printers was Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin printed some clever little expressions that he gathered from other countries and printed them in a book he called Poor Richard's Almanac. Some of these sayings are, "Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." Think about this one. "Beware of little expenses, a small leak can sink a great ship." For the people who are lazy, here's 2. "Up, you sluggard, and waste not life. In the grave will be sleeping enough." And this one, "A plowman on his legs is higher than a gentleman on his knees." Another famous saying from the 1700s came from a man who knew Benjamin Franklin, and you might say he acted as a town crier on the fateful night of April 18th, 1775. His name was Paul Revere, one of many Minutemen. The famous saying was, "To arms! Men, to arms! Wake up, the British are coming! Wake up, the British are coming! To arms!" That cry went through the night. Those farmers who heard it woke up, jumped up out of bed, prepared their rifles, and marched off to be ready and waiting for the British at Concord, Massachusetts. What do you think would have happened as the cry went out during the night and the farmer got up and he looked out his window to see a rider speeding through the town and out into the woods? And then he would say to his wife, "Oh, it's nothing, wife, just a drunk man riding through the woods half crazy. Let's go back to bed." Why, if that had been the case, we probably would have lost the American Revolution. No, the key was to be ready in a minute at the sound of a warning that the British are coming. The British were not the only ones coming. Jesus said in Revelation 22:12, "Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give everyone according as their work shall be." Are you ready at any moment for the coming of the Lord? If you are, then you will be rewarded according to the work you've done for Jesus while here on earth. Now, I know you children have not had too many years to do things for the Lord, But I believe the Lord would expect from you as young children to love Him and to live in obedience to the Lord and to your parents, to study the Bible and share Jesus with your friends. That much you can begin right away. Now, as for us adults, we have a much bigger job to do. We need to warn America of the path that it's on, a dangerous path, a path leading to sin and death. We must begin by warning our cities of the sin and exposing all kinds of things like the abortion issue. We need to write our government leaders and voice our opinion, much like our early patriots did, writing the king and complaining of things that were unjust. So what we do, we must do quickly. We must be ready at any moment for the coming of the Lord. I hope you've enjoyed these 20 stories from Volume 2. You can order Volume 1 if you don't already have it by writing the American Heritage Ministries, Post Office Box 695, Port Orford, Oregon 97465. Keep a sharp lookout for Volume 3, which will begin with the American Revolution 1775. I'll see you here, there, or in the air. Little Bear says, so long, and Lord bless you richly, is our prayer.